This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel. MEI and MouseFan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. They provide signature service with no agency fees. Get a no-obligation quote at www.mousefantravel.com. This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, March 12th, 2008, and this is episode 382 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hodgeberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today, I have Mike Scopa of All Ears Net. Hi, Mike.
There is no script. We don't know what will happen, but we do know one thing. You'll be there, Undercover Live.
Oh my God, sounds dangerous.
I thought it was us.
Oh. Really?
Also on the show today, we have Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Hi, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
In a word, outstanding. And also joining us, we have Mikey Newell of Mouse World Radio. Mikey, you ready to answer questions?
No, I don't want to make anyone cringe, so I'm not answering any questions tonight.
We still love you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the show today, we have Annette Owens of MEI and MouseFan Travel. Welcome back, Annette.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And it's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions, and the first one is going to be from Kirsten Madison of Albany, New York. Writes, hi, guys. Love the show and have learned tons from your expert advice. How often are the touring plans updated? We're planning a trip for August 2008, and we're hoping to see Toy Story Mania included in the tween plan.
Yeah. We'll have it, the Toy Story Mania opens April 25th. We'll probably have them out in about a month for people to start planning. So, first week of April, they'll be updated.
Right. And Len, the date you mentioned, April 25th, that's a soft opening date. And of course, that can change and everything.
Yeah. Right. It's official opening is going to be, the 24th? May 24th?
Yeah, something. They're looking maybe in the May or June timeframe, yeah.
Yeah, there's a press event May 21st through 23rd, so, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, they'll be updated before then.
Sure. Kirsten also wants to know, is there a touring plan in the works for Blizzard Beach? Thanks for the help and keep up the great work.
As a matter of fact, there is. We should have them out in the next edition of the book and on the website before summer.
Great. Next email's from William Vangrall of Fairfax, Virginia. Writes, hey guys, I have a quick question for Mike Newell about his DVC travels. I know he has an annual pass because he goes down often enough, but would it pay off for those of us just using it for the dining discount and only getting to the parks 4 or 5 days and staying using DVC points? I've been hesitant of getting an annual pass for only 4 or 5 days if I'm only going to be using it for the dining discounts, but if Newell makes it work, I will have to rethink my choice.
I don't use the dining discount, so I don't know.
You also go down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's primarily why you use it, right Mike?
The AP, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was only going once a year, I don't even know if I would get the AP, but
if he's only going 4 or 5 days and using DVC points, can you guys see a reason why he should get the annual pass?
4 or 5 days for 1 year?
Yeah.
I mean, one trip? No.
They don't overlap in a year?
He doesn't say that. I'm not sure.
Right. I mean, if you were planning on overlapping, a week prior the next year, then it's worth it. But if you're not, no.
If it's just 4 or 5 days, in one calendar year at a time, yeah. Next email is from Megan in Pennsylvania, who writes, "Go Broncos." I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't know.
Nice.
So just putting that out there. I just want to let you guys know that I recently, as of February 2007, made reservations for Le Cellier for a potential trip for the first week in June. The only times available were 5 o'clock or 8:10 p.m. on my selected date. I was wondering if there's any other restaurants that I should reserve now that I probably won't get into if I wait until the trip is confirmed. It's just me and my boyfriend traveling this time, but I love character meals, so that those don't need to be ruled out. Should I try to get Boma now? I would love to try one of the buffets over there.
Boma, Liberty Tree Tavern, I'd try. That's probably going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you like character meals and buffets, I like 1900 Park Fair. I think that's a great one. Breakfast, though. Dinner, I'm not so hot on, but breakfast is terrific over there. I really like that.
Yeah,
Breakfasaurus.
That would be it.
I think that's the top picks right there.
Yeah.
Next email is from TJ Ushing in Davis, California, who writes, hey guys, I'm booking a trip to Disneyland, yes land. I'm planning for the world in 2009, however, and going to Disneyland 2008 in the summertime, June to be exact. My biggest concern at the moment is how I can find out when any grad nights will be scheduled during my trip. Is there any website or anything I can find out information with the set final dates? I ask because last year was one during the week that we went, and we had no warning of when we booked the trip, having done so 6 months in advance. Do you want Disneyland information? You guys have any good sources?
And you can't call Disneyland directly and ask?
Yeah, grad nights they would probably have over there, right?
I would think they would, yeah.
Yeah, if they're available, I would try just calling Disney directly to get that kind of information. If you're looking for the grad nights, I think it's probably the best option.
I agree.
Next email is from Debbie, who writes, "Hi guys, I'm hoping you guys can help me with my 2 questions. I know you get a lot of them, but as you're also knowledgeable, I know you'll be able to help them. Insert any other sucking up that's needed here." Anyway, here goes my
You're a
first
handsome
question.
and powerful man. Go ahead.
Me and my partner are heading down to Walt Disney World for New Year's Eve next year, 2008-2009, staying on property at the All-Star Movies. And we arrive on New Year's Eve, and I know the parks will be hectic on that day. But do you know anything about what goes on at Downtown Disney Pleasure Island? I can't seem to find much information on it online. Pleasure Island for New Year's Eve.
Geez, you gotta get those tickets early, man. They usually have a mid-level name band playing there.
Like Van Halen.
They actually had David Lee Roth one year.
Ouch.
If I recall it correctly. I don't know. Yeah, call Pleasure Island.
Yeah, I don't think that information is out yet for 2008, 2009.
No, yeah.
Typically, it's like, what is it, Len? It's like kind of a concert-y type event going on over there.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah, they've got food out. I don't think the food is included in the ticket though. I think it's just the cost of the band that they bring in. But it's like $75 for a ticket. It might even be more than that, depending on who they're able to bring in. I hear Night Ranger's touring again, so I'm anticipating that's going to be, up on their list of.
They sing Sister Christian.
Yeah, they do actually, and maybe 6 or 7.
Okay, now everybody's just turned this off.
That was great.
At least I got one music-related thing right, finally. Debbie also wants to know, we're staying for 7 days, but we plan to come back with my father in 2009 for 3 weeks. As I'm an avid listener, I know that the annual pass makes a lot of sense, so I've scoured the Walt Disney World website, and I found that if I stay anywhere that I am from the United Kingdom, I cannot seem to buy an annual pass. Do you know if the pass is simply for Americans, or can someone who makes enough trips to the world a year buy one? Would I have to go to guest services when I go to Walt Disney World? Annette, do you know anything about that? I've never heard of the annual pass being restricted.
I've never heard of it, but most of the time my clients from the UK wait and get it when they get over here. They go up to guest services and get it.
Scopa, have you heard anything about it?
I'm trying to think. I have some friends who come over from the United Kingdom several times a year. I'll tell you what, Matt, let me do some research and we'll put something in the show notes if I can get some answers.
That sounds like a good idea. So we thank Debbie for those questions. Next email is from George, aka Bill Badonis from ImagineNerding.com. Writes, guys, it was great meeting all of you at MouseFest. Since I'm such a book nerd, I'm wondering what each of your favorite Disney books are. Not the travel ones, sorry, Len, but other Disney-related titles.
Wow.
And I can't wait to hear Newell's response. He wrote that really.
Yeah, thanks, George.
I'm so glad this was all about the guys, and I'm out of this. Woo!
Go grab a book off the bookshelf.
I'm reading. What do you guys? I'm trying to think of any non-travel related. I mean, like touring plane books.
I like those.
Right off the bat, it's Charlie Ridgway for me.
Oh, there you go. That's my choice right there. Perfect.
No.
Oh,
I
yeah.
already
All
choose
read
him.
the same book?
Well,
No, I really like it. I would go with that one. Newell, do you have a book?
I like those little Imagineering guides that they put out.
I don't like those.
No?
Yeah. I mean, they're just sort of light and fluffy. They're not.
Well, that's what I like, light and fluffy.
And why did
Very
they skip the
superficial.
studios? I don't get it.
Because
What?
they just wanted to do with the real. They wanted to deal with just the real theme parks down there, Matt.
They were going in order of popularity.
hate
next
all
is
of you guys.
next is Blizzard Beach, and then the
Yeah,
studio.
exactly. Typhoon Lagoon and Winter Summerland, and they'll do the resorts. They'll get around to the studios eventually.
Len,
Yes.
what's a book that you like?
I like 2 of them. One is Building a Dream: The Art of Disney Architecture by Beth Dunlop.
I've got that. That's pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah, and then the other one is I think it's the Epcot book, the World of Tomorrow.
Yes.
There are two versions of it though. One is a soft cover, abridged edition, and the hardcover one, which is much more difficult to find, is like 250 pages, which really and it goes into depth about what Epcot was supposed to be after it was supposed to be Epcot. After it was supposed to be the prototypical community of tomorrow. So it's got storyboards for the Russian pavilion that was never built, and what the German river cruise was supposed to look like, and stuff like that. Fabulous book. Get the hardcover on eBay if you can find it.
Annette, do you have a book you enjoy?
I'm actually in the middle of reading a book called Be Our Guest, and it's about the customer service training
The
at
aspect
Disney,
of it?
their cast
Yeah.
members. So
Would you
that's
recommend
what
it?
I'm reading now. I have a library of them, but that's what I'm reading now.
Do you enjoy it? Would you recommend it, Annette?
I read it every year, and actually we recommend it to our agents. We recommend it to our agents to read because it just continues on the customer service from Disney straight on through.
Oh, cool. Next email's from Kevin from Lincoln, Nebraska. He writes, "Hi guys, love your shows. They help me get through the necessary middle-aged required workouts at the gym. My family is planning a 10-day trip on January 1st, 2009 to Walt Disney World. I know the 2008 cost of a Magic Your Way ticket with Park Hopper option is about $287, and an annual pass is about $477. We like to stay at Riverside, but would consider something like Boardwalk Wilderness Lodge. If one of us purchased the annual pass, would the annual pass discounts make it worth the extra $190? I know from allears.net what most of the discounts are. What's unclear is the lodging discount. I can't find out until I'm an annual pass holder. What can I expect?"
I think we started addressing this in the last one of the previous shows. How many nights are they staying, Matt?
10-day trip.
Oh yeah, if you to switch over to Deluxe Resort, the break-even point's like 3 or 4 days. If you look at the average discount, and if you look at the minimum discount that's typically available, you'd only add like a day onto that.
Sound good to you?
So
Anna?
yeah, it definitely makes sense. Unless are they going during Christmas? Christmas and Easter are the only times really when the
Well, they're going. Their first day is January 1st.
they should be. Maybe on the second that might be okay.
2 reservations.
Reservations, exactly. 2 reservations. Yeah, exactly right. But then they should be fine.
Yeah, and then how far out typically does those blackouts for like Christmas and New Year's extend into January?
Normally it's the first. Normally I've
That's
seen
it.
it once. It was over to the second recently.
Oh, cool.
I think. But yeah, and it's hard to say with the way they're doing these. You'd have the blackout, and then you just have to start in with a new reservation on that other date.
Okay, cool.
But definitely worth it to get the discount because the percentages on that, because since it's a percentage discount that you're getting,
Yep.
definitely works out. That deluxe is a great way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of it's a no-brainer when you're staying at a Deluxe Resort to have an AP.
Next email's from Andy Jackson of Riverview, Florida, who writes, "Greetings, gentlemen," and I use the term loosely. "I wanted to drop by and drop you a note letting you know what a pleasure it was to meet you at MouseFest. Okay, I didn't get a chance to meet Len, but I'm assuming it would have been a pleasure to meet him as well. Please correct me if this assumption is wrong."
So totally would have made the day.
Did you leave?
Yeah, the hell.
Was he there?
And I would apologize for taking so long after MouseFest to write, but I'm also assuming this won't get read for quite a while, so we can pretend we're talking about MouseFest 2012. Matt, I shook your hand in front of Dinosaur. I'd hoped to be there for the big ride, but you beat us to the punch. At least your hand didn't seem to be shaking too much by the time that I got to meet you. I spoke to Scopa for a few minutes at Podfest and got to speak to Newell at the Mega Mouse Meet. As I told both of them, I sort of blame you guys for my current revived Disney addiction. My addiction began with a trip to Disneyland when I was 7, and I won't say how long ago that was. I'm not quite in Scopa's era, but pretty darn close. It's waxed and waned a bit over the years, but never left. And now back stronger than ever. I live closer to the Tampa area, so I'm fortunate to be able to visit the world pretty much whenever I like. Walt Disney World Today was the first Disney podcast I came across, and remains at the top of my favorites list. Like I hear many others comment on, and I told Newell about this, the banter and friendly kidding between all of you on the show is one of the joys of listening to you. Underneath all the jokes, you can really tell that there is a true affection between you all. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Looking
Let me
forward
get my
to the
Kleenex. Where's my Kleenex? I love you guys.
Did you hear me before the show saying, the heck with them?
opportunity.
There were a couple other things, but we edited it out.
Yeah, Newell was just slamming this Andy Jackson guy. He was like, "Oh, I hate that guy." No,
I
I can't
remember
believe you said
Andy.
nothing about him.
I remember Andy. We were right on the side. We were during Podfest. I remember him.
Yep. Next email is from Rob, who writes, "Thanks for the great shows. It's always fun listening to you guys, and the advice you give is always great. Well, here's my question. After years of stupid financial mistakes, my wife and I finally paid off our credit cards and cars. We're now debt-free except for our house. Thanks, Dave Ramsey." Who's Dave Ramsey?
He's a
Financial planner.
exactly.
We're celebrating by going to Disney next year. I want to know a few things. We can go from Chicago anytime from Thanksgiving Day through New Year's Day, and we'd like to stay at least 5 or 6 days. What time frame and how many days would you suggest? And for my wife's sakes, why?
Mouse Fest.
Yeah, Mouse Fest would be fun. You get to see all of us.
Yeah.
Or
That-
the week after that would be good in terms of
the first 2 weeks, right, Len, of December?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, check. I'll put it in the show notes a link to mousefest.org so you can find the dates.
The week before Thanksgiving should be really good too.
Yeah, from Thanksgiving Day, though, so I guess you can't go
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving Day, not so good.
And of course,
Yeah, right.
besides being able to meet us, which I don't think Rob's wife is going to really care about, it's also it's a less crowded time of the year, certainly, and you get to see all the
Right.
holiday stuff.
Right.
My wife doesn't care either.
Neither does my fiance. Rob also writes, "How much money should we save up if we want to pay for this in cash? We're a family of 5, 2 adults, 3 boys, ages 12, 11, and 5.
Depends on where you're staying. Depends on a couple of things, really.
Yeah, it depends on where you're staying, how much money you're going to be delving out in terms of frivolous purchases like souvenirs, where you eat,
But the tickets you could probably buy now to save some money.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's a good point, Len. You could probably buy the
Any
tickets
ticket
ahead of time.
increases, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the tickets are going to go up in August. The ticket prices they went up in August last year, so they should go up in August again this year. And you'll probably save 10%, which is 10% for 5 people, which is a pretty decent chunk of change. You'd probably save $100 or so
Yeah.
if you could buy.
Scopa, how much would you ballpark for them?
Number one, there are so many variables. Like where would they stay? Moderate, value, deluxe.
Yeah. If they were, let's assume they were going to stay at a value resort, and they were going to be somewhat. They weren't going to go completely on to town with their purchase. They were going to try to keep things under control, but still have a decent time. What kind of budget are you looking for?
I would say $500 to $600 a day. That would include admission. That would include room, and that would include meals. And that might be a little low, but I'm saying $500 to $600 a day.
And one last question, I think would be a good question for Annette. Rob wants to know: would you suggest the dining plan, or a dining plan? I'm going to go with no.
12, 11,
But-
and 5. But the boys.
They're not going to eat enough.
And I don't know if they'd eat enough to get the dining plan, but
Well, the 5-year-old probably wouldn't.
the 5-year-old's going to get that. Yeah, they're going to be getting kids meals, but the 11 and 12-year-old are going to have to eat like adults.
So are you leaning towards no also, Annette?
I'm leaning towards no.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with. I don't think it'll be worth it for them. So, next email is from. Who is the next email from? It is from Pam Fortin of Baltimore, Maryland. Who writes, "Dear Matt, Mike, and Len, I'm a relatively new listener and have been addicted to Disney podcasts for the last 3 months, and I just want to tell you how much I enjoy your show, especially show number 349. Your discussion of bantering about the theming for the unfinished portion of Pop Century Legendary Years had me absolutely in hysterics. You guys are great, and it's apparent that you have a great time working together. Keep the great work. It warms my heart to know that there are other Disney nuts out there just like me. Thanks again." Very good. Appreciate listening. I don't know, what was 349? Was that a question show, or was that an excellent question that I can answer on my own later? Next email is from Tom Ayul Jr. of Sunman, Indiana, who writes, "Mangello, Matt, Mike, and Len, insert shamelessstudiocentral.com, mouseworldradio.com, allears.net, and unofficial guide plugs here. You can never get too many. Anyway, here are my questions. I'm planning 2 trips for 2009. It'll be probably myself and 2 kids, Brooklyn, 4, turning 5 in November, and Wyatt, 7. Would it be worth it to just get a 6-day park hopper tickets with no expiration option for the kids in October and an annual pass for myself, since I'll be coming back in December for Mousefest?"
How many days are both trips?
They have 2 trips in 2009. I don't think he says how many days.
Plus 1 this year?
Yeah. No, this is 2009. So one in 6-day. I guess he says 2 6-day park hoppers. So I guess one of the trips is a 6-day, or then maybe 2
okay.
days. I'm not sure.
Is the annual pass worthwhile? Yeah, it's gonna be cheaper than 2 6-day with park hoppers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the first trip is a 6-day. That's what he's bringing his kids. Then he's coming back from Mouse Fest. So it's going to be 6 days plus however many days he comes here for Mouse Fest. Figure, 3 or 4 at least.
Well, if he does the 4 days for Mouse Fest, then yeah.
Yeah.
He's at 10.
No brainer.
Well, if he can get the resort discount too during either one of those days with his annual pass, yeah, then definitely it makes sense.
Yep. Tom also wants to know if that is the route to go. Would it be beneficial to get the tickets and annual pass early? And how does that work? Do I just get vouchers for the tickets and pass? And the time on the tickets and pass start the first time I use them? I think you got it right there, Tom.
That's exactly what would happen. And again, Disney typically raises their prices in August, and child tickets are the ones that typically go up the most. So you could easily save 10% by buying the tickets before August.
Perfect. Next email is from Kevin in Hadesburg, Mississippi, who writes, "Hello, gentlemen. My wife and I are taking our 2 sons, ages 9 and 7, to Walt Disney World for the first time. We're thrilled to find your podcast, and it really helped us plan our trip. Here's my concern, though. When we travel, my wife always carries a big tote bag. It's a bag about the size of a briefcase that she wears on her shoulder. Our boys call it the magic bag because my wife carries everything in it. Seriously, she's like Mary Poppins pulling things out of that bag: jackets, snacks, water bottles, Band-Aids. I'm worried that she won't be able to take the bag on rides, though, especially rides that are high speed or that go upside down. She says her bag is no different than having a backpack, that she'll hold the bag on her lap or at her feet on rides. Besides, she's not going on any rides that go upside down. Who's right? Is it okay to bring a bag like this on rides?"
I can jump right in here and say I have the Wonder Bag that comes with me most of the time, and I've not had any problems. Just make sure it closes so you don't have anything flying out.
Right.
It's been on Rock and Roller Coaster with me, so.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree with Annette. Next email is from Stephen Shea of Hyde Park, Massachusetts, who writes, "Happy New Year, guys. I love the podcast, and I have a couple of questions. I have 2 girls, ages 7 and 4, and have a trip planned for this April for 10 days at Old Key West. We're thinking of going to a water park, but I've never been to them. I love both of them, but can you tell me which one is more child-friendly for our age group? Ages 7 and 4.
Blizzard Beach, definitely.
Blizzard Beach.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
I defer
It's
to you.
got
Oh, well.
slides appropriate for year-olds.
Well, I mean, they both have. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but if you can't get in, yeah, a little bit.
Annette, why did you say Blizzard Beach? Any particular reason? Experience in your...
Well, yeah, my kids enjoyed Blizzard Beach a lot more than Typhoon Lagoon, but there just seems to be a bigger kids area.
Yeah, plus that whole Shark Tank where they put blood in the water and then they throw the kids
scary.
in there. It's not a lot of fun.
Oh, the chummery, yeah.
It's a real kick
My
in the
kids
pants.
wouldn't go in there, so.
They call them chum children.
We're going to need a bigger boat. Stephen also writes, "My other question is regarding running while at the resort. I'm planning on running the 2009 half marathon next January. I want to try to keep up on a schedule event at the World. Is there any area that is good for running, and has it ever been measured, like 2.5 miles around the resort? Keep up the good work."
There are several resorts that have jogging paths, and if you go to the front desk and ask them for a map, they will provide you with a map that will indicate where the jogging path is and may, in many cases, tell you how far you will be running if you do one particular loop on the path. So, yes.
Great. Next email is from Zach from Albertville, Minnesota. Writes, "Hey guys, I just had a question about Soarin' at Epcot. I heard somewhere that Soarin' over California video should be replaced with something else. Do you know if this is true? If so, do you know when? Keep up the great work. I love the show."
Well, Len will tell you about what Dave Smith said many years ago.
Yeah, Dave. When I was during the opening for Soarin', I happened to be sitting next to Dave Smith, the Disney archivist, who mentioned that the plan was to better theme the film to fit into Future World by having it be Soarin' around the world. But I think with the popularity of Soarin' over California now, Disney's got better ways to spend $10 million or whatever it is for a new film than.
Wasn't it? I thought it was Soaring Over America. Soaring Over the World? I thought it was Soaring Over America.
Around the world, yeah. So.
Zach also wants to know, other than the American dining at Epcot, can you give me some ideas on sit-down restaurants in Epcot for a non-exotic family? Any help is greatly appreciated.
Non-exotic.
Le Cellier, Beer Garden.
Le Cellier is a great option, Len.
Yeah, it's just steak, it's salmon. I mean, it's with a Canadian twist, but it's like Viking food. It's not really like Viking food. It's just like American food. Rose and Crown. I don't really love Rose and
I'm trying to think of like where I would take someone who's a really picky eater. And I think La Celia is a great option, although it's very hard to get in there.
my next choice.
well-
You think so? For a non-picky eater, I don't think so.
Why? It's just like roasted chicken and sausages. That's true. You're right. Okay, never mind.
How about Mexico? No.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the food, but then again, I like authentic Mexican food. So maybe that might be a good option for Zach's family.
Yeah, there really isn't much.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the food. The thing to keep in mind is that all the food at Walt Disney World is very watered down. It's not like you're going to go in there and it's going to be like something really authentic. Most of the food isn't really,
especially Morocco.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at the menu, look for something that, a chicken or a beef dish that doesn't look too intense, maybe something you can try, expand your horizons, challenge yourself. That's what I always say. And the food is certainly, it's not, some crazy food that's going to have 9 eyes in it and, tentacles coming out of it, because clearly not the case.
Squingil, yeah. Calamari.
Well, I always recommend to my clients go out and look at Allers.net, look at the dining, and look at the menu.
Look at the
before
menus,
you
yeah.
have an idea, because just because you've heard great things about a restaurant, you might not see anything on there that you like. But also know that you can ask if some people don't like sauces. I know my husband doesn't like sauces on his meat, so he'll just ask, please put that on the side. And they've been very accommodating.
That's a great option. Next email is from Jill Ann of Indiana, where it's, hey, Matt, Mike, Matt, and Len, great podcast, lame gags. On my family's recent trip to the world, though it won't be recent by the time you read this, I experienced wishes in a whole new way. Let me explain this. I boarded Astro Orbiter at 8:59 p.m. Flying amongst the fireworks was a trip highlight. I recommend it to anyone. That's an interesting option. I've done Aladdin's carpet for wishes, but that would really be Astro Orbiter. It's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, Astro Orbiters would be great. It'd be a great.
Yeah, I've done Thunder Mountain, but not.
I've done Thunder Mountain too. Yeah.
We got time for one last email, and I'm going to read this. I'm going to sneak this one in because the subject is Van Halen, Osborne, and Scopa. I don't know how they're going to tie it all in, but let's see.
Okay.
I'm worried. I'm scared.
It comes from John Maloney of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Who has greetings, Walt Disney World Today host and potential guest. Ooh, Annette.
Hey, I'm included in this one. Okay.
First, I had to sneak in a quick note for Len that I was fortunate enough to win a radio contest and snag front row seats to Van Halen in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Section A, row 001, seats 1 and 2.
Wow, how was that?
It was great. I really liked it. Secondly, and Osborne isn't a continuance of the heavy metal theme, I want to thank Mike Scopa for sharing his top holiday highlights. We were in Walt Disney World in mid-December and thoroughly enjoyed the candlelight procession and other recommendations. One recommendation that I would put higher on the list is the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights. While the lights in Epcot between Future World and World Chickens were festive, we were blown away by the Osborne lights, especially by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra synchronized tunes. I have to agree with John on that one. And finally, we took in a lunch at Trails End Cafeteria, and Mike was dead on again. Emphasis on the word dead. Thanks again for the great show, and rock on. P.S. We'll try to capture some of Eddie's sweat and ship it to Len.
Awesome, thanks.
Well, that's it for us today. To find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. Visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio. This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel. MEI and MouseFan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. They provide signature service with no agency fees. Get a no-obligation quote at www.mousefantravel.com.